What's in the box? Nothing! You're so stupid!
Welcome back to Otaku Daikun. Daichan here, and for this video, I'll be discussing the concept known as FOMO, or the fear of missing out. It's a serious psychological phenomenon we experience in a manner of ways, but given the nature of this channel, I want to focus on how FOMO affects us as fans of anime and games. That said, I feel a lot of what I mention here is applicable to life in general, so don't dismiss it if anime isn't your niche. Basically, life is short, and our options are limited, so we try to take advantage of every opportunity that comes our way. We also can't help but compare ourselves to other people. Companies know that, and exploit our FOMO for their own gain. It's a critical part of most sales tactics, and has become all the more dangerous with the rise of social media. If you enjoy this content, be sure to like, comment, share, and smash that subscription bell as if it were your waifu. Consider supporting us by becoming a paid channel member on YouTube or joining via Subscribestar or Patreon. All three platforms offer the same perks, such as early access and exclusive content that's too spicy for YouTube. Without further ado, let's confront FOMO head-on. As far as I'm concerned, there are three different types of FOMO, or rather, three different sources of it. First, there's limited time FOMO. This is the fear that you'll miss out on something that is only available during a specific window of time. It's intrinsically tied to the fear of being late, and it's not always exploitative. We just can't help it. Some things are naturally only available at certain times. Depending on where you live, for instance, you can't ski in the summer, nor can you sunbathe during the winter. Certain crops are freshest during certain seasons. You only have one childhood, one shot at being young. A movie theater doesn't have enough hours in the day to screen every film ever made, so they prioritize the hottest, newest releases and only show them for a couple weeks at a time. While it is inevitable, we need to be careful when it's being used against us, namely when someone is artificially making something limited for a time. The very concept of a sale, for instance, is designed to capitalize on our FOMO. I just got a quote on getting the windows of my house replaced, and of course the salesman told me there was a special deal going on right now that would go away if I stopped and considered my other options. Maybe this sale was pre-planned, but I wouldn't be surprised if this guy just made up that deal on the spot. That, or if you've ever worked retail, you know how pretty much everything is on sale at some point. Chances are that sale will come back, but because you don't know exactly when, you feel a certain pressure to commit. When it comes to anime and games, this is most apparent in live service gacha games like Fate Grand Order or Genshin Impact. These games target our FOMO in three places. First, the characters we want only show up for limited time banners. If you don't roll them in that time, they go away forever or become much harder to obtain. These games have limited time events that dictate when you play the game, else you miss out on their stories and rewards. Overall, the entire game itself is limited time, because once the servers shut down, you just won't be able to play anymore. All of this is to keep you glued to the experience and ready to pay up when you desperately run out of rolls. The most infuriating thing about this is that it artificially inflates the value of a certain product or experience. Normally, we only covet things when we want them, but now we're stuck trying to obtain things just in case we want them. It completely rewrites our sense of priorities, making us live around a clock determined by availability. The fewer of those timed experiences in our lives, the better. Nature already dictates that enough. My brother is especially susceptible to this type of FOMO. Whenever he finds a website with cool music, images, or videos, he doesn't just download the ones he likes. Knowing the website will eventually shut down, he goes about archiving the entire thing, even if he doesn't have time to appreciate it all. When we were teens, he'd buy up all sorts of anime and games without even playing them, just so they'd be around in the event he does want them. I admit this was pretty cool for me, as I'd use the chance to peruse his collection and discover things I hadn't prioritized. I suppose I have to thank him for getting me into Xenogears and Xenosaga, as I didn't think to buy those when they came out. It's just sad knowing that sometimes he spends more time and effort backing things up than actually enjoying them. Recently, he has a tremendous backlog of anime and games to check out, but has been pouring countless hours into Phantasy Star Online too, so that he can get a lot of the old collaboration outfits the game had long before he started playing. The fact that he already missed out on these banners has him bending over backwards to purchase items from the in-game shop for absurdly inflated prices. Luckily, he's still enjoying this process, but it definitely feels like the game is playing him just as much as he plays it. It's all about finding a balance, but in all honesty, he's got a point. Things do go away. YouTubers take down their own videos or they get copyright struck, movies and games go out of print. If you like something, you'd better archive it while you still can. That's why lost media has become such a craze lately. We never thought we'd care about certain obscure shows, commercials, or other niche works when they came out, but in retrospect, we're desperate to find them archived in some way. This type of FOMO has an evil sibling, that being limited quantity FOMO. Just as some things are only available for a short time, others are only around while supplies last. There simply isn't enough of a given thing to go around, so you fear that if you don't get your hands on it now, you never will. Again, a lot of this can be natural. Physical goods, especially food or housing, can simply run out. Bakeries, for example, want to make things fresh, so they only bake a certain amount of food each day. Once it sells out, that's it, at least until the next day. This isn't some cheap company ploy, but rather a necessary hardship that comes with avoiding frozen goods. That said, in many other cases, companies do exploit this FOMO by deliberately not making enough of something. For us anime fans, that's what limited editions are all about. While these are an opportunity for die-hard fans to pay extra for a given work they want to support, limited editions also create the illusion of scarcity for a work as a whole. Nintendo is the malicious king of this manipulation. I'll give them a bit of credit in that initially, they may have legitimately underestimated the demand for their NES Classic and first run of Amiibos. However, after seeing how crazy it made consumers, I honestly believe Nintendo ran with it and continued to underproduce. They liked how rare the Amiibos and classic consoles became. Now, with MSRP and trade regulations, you'd think this to be a stupid move. If you can't charge more for an item's rarity, why not just make enough to meet demand? Well, it seems that Nintendo is willing to undersell a product line or two, so long as it artificially inflates the perceived value of their other stuff. If you can instill an early bird gets the worm mentality into all of your customers, they'll come flocking like hungry vultures, even when there's enough to go around. In other words, they profit from our discomfort, keeping us on our toes for every reveal and release. I went through that hardcore with my limited edition copy of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. As someone who was once standing in line for an amiibo, only to have it sell out just a couple of places ahead of me, I know what it's like to miss out. Thus, when Nintendo told us to follow them on Twitter for more information, I felt compelled to sit through every single notification for over a month just to make sure I had the best chance of getting my Xenoblade box. In a sense, they were holding Xenoblade hostage in order to advertise all their other crap, instead of earnestly telling us when the reveal would be. The worst part about limited quantity FOMO is that it actively encourages us to compete against one another over our shared fandom. Rather than promoting something awesome to as many people as possible, it's in our best interest to lay low and try to be one of the lucky few customers. This goes against what I'd like to do as a fan, which is celebrate without envy. Another nasty part of this FOMO is that, just like with limited time FOMO, it artificially inflates the value of something. In this case, something gains value not for being any good, but for being rare. If you look at collector's items, such as action figures, you'll notice the most expensive goods aren't there because they sold the most or the most beloved. Instead, it'll be prototype models or defects that spike in price, since there aren't as many of them. Again, it's a way to get us to covet something we don't necessarily want, based on the idea that now's our only opportunity to get it. In that regard, you can take literally anything, hide it under a box, call it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and immediately make people more intrigued, even if what's inside is completely worthless.
I'll take the box! The box!
You took the box! Let's see what's in the box! Nothing! You're so stupid!
It's pure psychological warfare. Limited time and availability FOMO can combine into a veritable shitstorm. Take the COVID toilet paper crisis. Lots of people, anticipating a shortage of toilet paper, bought it up in bulk, stashing it just in case they would need it. This made the shortage even more severe, with others fighting over what little there was. It turned a basic commodity into a luxury good, all because bad apples tried to manipulate the market. Well, that's exactly what's happening with all these games and consoles that get scalped on eBay. If we weren't afraid of the stock running out, we wouldn't all obsess over it, and there probably would be enough to go around for those that actually did care. The last type of FOMO is, for me, the most severe. It's FOMO created by communication and envy. One of the most frustrating things about that whole Xenoblade 3 debacle was sitting on Nintendo's broken-ass website for hours on end while seeing countless people on Twitter announcing their success. Others were getting an opportunity that I lacked, and that hurt all the more. Honestly, I've always been this way. Whenever a new game would release, I'd be stuck waiting for it to come in the mail. I was at the whim of my local retailers and postal service. Knowing the game was supposed to be out, imagining others already playing it drove me crazy. This anxiety grew even stronger when I became a content creator. I'm now intimately aware of all the advanced review copies out there, as well as the insane fans who will binge and spoil a game within hours of its release. If I can't stand among them, at the forefront of the hype, how can I stay relevant? How can I get views? Thus, when Fate Samurai Remnant came out, and I was stuck waiting over the weekend for my physical edition to arrive, I feared I was missing out on the chance to be a part of that hype. If I lived in total isolation, this wouldn't matter, but between having friends in person and online, I feel a constant pressure to be up on the trend. Sadly, studies show that succumbing to this FOMO leads to lower satisfaction and self-esteem. This makes sense, as essentially, you're focusing less on what you actually have and more on what you could have. It's hard to fix, given how the companies that sell us our anime and games utilize FOMO directly in their marketing. Still, I think it helps to acknowledge when it's happening, whether you choose to buy into it or not. Ironically, all the time spent fearing what you'll miss out on could be spent not missing out on other things within your reach. Going into our discussion, do you guys have FOMO? In what situations? Have you found anything that helps alleviate that fear? Let me know in the comments below.
Thanks for watching.
If you enjoy this channel, help us grow by liking, commenting, sharing the video, subscribing to Otaku Daikun, and
Most of all, smashing that notification bell so you don't miss out on all our anime lore, discussions, and Let's Play content.
you can support us directly through Patreon, Subscribestar, or a YouTube membership, all of which come with benefits like spicy exclusive vids and early access.
As always, celebrate your fandom. I want to give a special shout out to all my $10 and up supporters: Video Gamer 75, Dante Pendragon, Stephen Elak, Samuel Gersten, The Nonchalant Ostrich, Otaku Mom, Jens Bauman, Mystic Samurai 1983, Lord Omagoden, Freebrick, Olympian Doll, Alexis Yukio Gomez Yamato, Link Pendrago, Observer Bellis, James Hewitt, Uncanny EXP, King Kobo, Scout, Andre Foster, Jared Kraus, Zamas Autonomous, Yukie Eros, Crow Kalem, Saul Soto, Sogai CH, Caitlin P, Vladimirovna, The Taz 96, Kengo X 77, Alester Bernadotte, Mickey D 343, and Akakaze Yume. Thank you all so much.